Shavua Tov, good morning, everyone. Yair Spitz from the field here. So last update was Friday before Shabbat, and I shared some thoughts, pre-Shabbat thoughts that I shared with the soldiers. So Shabbat, second Shabbat in the army, but in a different area, different location in the country, which brings with it different challenges. Without going into too much detail, I'll just say that the conditions we are now are not as good as the previous place we were in, which maybe sounds difficult. How could it be worse? But it is. Well, among other things, because the previous place we were there for a week and a half, so there's enough time, very slowly every day, gradually, to make it a little more hospitable. Whereas the location we are in now, we just got here. So we have to deal with whatever's here, and chances are the place where we are now, we won't be able to make too many changes to the area like we did down south. But motivation is still extremely high. Everyone knows why we're here. Everyone understands new area, new challenges, but new mission as well. So the truth is, I had throughout Friday, I was making my way from down south towards north, and even though the driving time officially on Waze would have been just a couple hours, whenever you're doing as part of an army convoy, or in this case it was even just me, my Hummer, and my driver. But along the way, we continuously got more and more missions that we needed to get to go places, pick things up, drop things off. People who the rest of the battalion that already reached the destination the previous day, they had just gotten there, so suddenly they realized they're missing this, they're missing that. So what ended up happening is that as Friday went on longer and longer, and we're still driving, and then we keep on going to this base on the way, have to wait until this thing is ready. So slowly, I constantly am looking at my watch, seeing where we are as far as the drive, and how far away we are from the base, to our destination, and with my eye on forget about candlelighting time. It became pretty clear to me eventually that I'm not going to make it for candlelighting time, but to make it before Shkia. And the truth is that even though I know very well that throughout Shabbat I am doing things that would be considered Chilul Shabbat, but the idea of not even getting to the base on time for the beginning of Shabbat, and be able to make even the most minimal preparations, figuring out where the challah is, where giving the girls here candles to light, I was a little distressed about it. And the truth is, Shkia was at 6:02. We arrived at the base at 6:01. Got off the jeep, and we were not able to light candles, regretfully. But at least I got here on time. And even though, again, maybe half an hour later, I got back into the Hummer in order to give out very, very necessary supplies to the different forces in the area, at least I felt that we had reached my destination before the beginning of Shabbat. But the truth is, it's difficult. It's difficult to get used to the idea that on Shabbat I'm doing things that for the first time in my life, many of these things for the first time in my life. But again, I have to remind myself constantly that it's not only pikuach nefesh doche Shabbat, but there's also the mitzvah, the commandment, the obligation of milchama for the sake of Am Yisrael, and therefore that overrides Shabbat. And the entire purpose of Shabbat is for the existence of Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. So that was something that I experienced. Then, as best as we could, we got ready for Shabbat. We started. I mentioned that last week we had a minyan. This week we did not have a minyan in the whole, the whole partial battalion that's here. There's maybe 3, 4 observant guys, and not enough guys, and also the way we're spread out, not possible to do a minyan. So daven on my own. But we got a lot of food, a lot of very, very nice food from one of the nearby towns. Someone came and gave a donation of When I say full Shabbat meal for about 50, 60 soldiers. That includes multiple homemade salads. That means Tunisian fish. Means rice, pasta. There were pargiot, which is I guess call them chiclets. There was brisket. There were meat tortillas. There was just so much food. So one of the women soldiers, female soldiers, she kind of decided that she wants everyone to eat together. He says it's important, and she was like, she spread it all out at this huge buffet. Meaning took 2-3 tables, laid it all out, put out plates, put out forks, knives, which is a lot more challenging than you would think, and not something that happens during the week. And all the soldiers that were permitted to leave their specific stations and came. We waited for the battalion commander, who many times isn't with us in the field, and a few of the other higher ups. And everyone came together. I'd say about it does make a difference how many, a few dozen soldiers. Battalion commander spoke a little bit about the official mission here, and then asked me to speak. So what I told him, I said, listen, in a few minutes, we'll sing Shalom Aleichem, we'll make Kiddush, we'll do Lechem Mishnah. I says, but this song we're about to sing, I imagine many of you are familiar. Everyone is welcome, is invited to join in. Those of you who know the tune, join in. Those of you who don't know the tune, welcome to listen and join us next week when we'll be singing it again. I said, this song is called Shalom Aleichem, and if you listen carefully to the words, you'll see that the main theme of it is shalom, which is not just peace, it's wholesomeness. I said, and this song, and most probably with this specific tune, has been sung for hundreds or thousands of years by Jews all over the world. And the Jews who saw the Romans, they sang this song, and the Romans passed from the world. And the Jews who lived during the Greek time, they sang this song, or a version of it. And the Greeks came and they left. And throughout our history, for thousands of years, all of our enemies have come, made a lot of noise, have oppressed us, have tried to annihilate us, and all through those generations, on Friday night, Jews sat down and they sang this song, or a version of this song, and this tune, or a version of this tune. Said, and the same thing is true over here. And God willing, Bezrat Hashem, in 5, 10, 15, 30, 40 years, we will be sitting, everyone here will be sitting with the grandchildren and singing this song and telling them about this Shabbat, that we were in the field in a certain area in the country with very, very little means. But we stood here on Friday night and we sang this song of Shabbat Shalom, of Shalom Aleichem, and Bo'achem LeShalom, and Ba'chuni LeShalom, and Tzitchem LeShalom, and because we were fighting an enemy called Hamas. And your grandchildren will ask you, Hamas, who's Hamas? What's Hamas? And you tell them, oh, there used to be this evil entity, this evil group, just like Amalek, just like the Greeks, just like everyone else, just like the Nazis, who thought that they can beat Am Yisrael. Your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, they won't even know who Hamas is, but they will know what Shalom Aleichem is. It says, and that's where we get our strength from, and that's what we should focus on now. And then we sang Shalom Aleichem. It was absolutely beautiful. It was very, very uplifting. Then we did Kiddush. Then we ate a fantastic meal, probably the best meal we've eaten since we drafted over 2 weeks ago. We did Havdalah. I'd say probably a group of maybe 10, 15 soldiers. Most of them had no idea what Havdalah was, so they asked me what it is. I said, I came with actually, we had some Kedem grape juice, a small bottle of Kedem grape juice. It was very windy, so we used, there's a gas burner that's used to make coffee on it. So and used a tea bag with some leaves in it. ginger and mint. So we had everything that we needed. So I announced. I said, and about to do Havdalah. If anyone is interested, there were one or two guys who knew what it was and said sure they wanted to come, and the rest kind of came to see what was going on. So they started asking me, what is it? I explained about the four brachot of the Havdalah, one for the wine, for the grape juice itself, the second for the fire. And they asked, fire looks a little strange for someone who doesn't know what it is. I said, well, fire is the fundamental, most basic technology. It's something that a person can create something from nothing, and it's the fundamental force that humanity uses in order to advance itself, in order to work. I said, and that's what just like we're the Torah expects us to rest and to not create on Shabbat. Also, we are commanded on the 6 days of the week, yes to work, yes to create. And the fire is the most fundamental aspect of, or most symbolic thing in which that allows us to create as humans, as a human civilization. And we are told that the fire was created on Motzei Shabbat, and that's why we say the bracha on the fire, and then another bracha on the psamim, on something that revives us from the rest and the peacefulness of Shabbat, something to awaken us to the new week and to the transition from Shabbat to weekdays, and then the bracha on the actual distinction between Shabbat and the Kedusha of Shabbat and the mundane of the week. And then I went on to do the classic NCSY / Reb Shlomo Havdalah. It was probably the first time I did it where no one around me knew the tune, so I had to really do it solo the entire time. So a little self-conscious about it, because usually I could afford to be off-key because everyone else is singing with me. But this time I did it on my own, and thank God I think it went well, and it was very, very special. Last week I was not able to do Havdalah. This week I was able to do Havdalah with other people, so that was very meaningful as well.